Yeah, this is a video about Bruce Jenner, just trying to find out what's going on with that stuff, because here's how I found out. It was several months ago I saw an article that someone claimed that he was trying to become a woman. And I thought that this was just gossip, like verging on slander, because if there's no proof of it, then that's a very vicious rumor if it's not true. But however, if it is true, it's just stating the fact, and we accept that some people want to do this or they have to do this. So now it comes out that a couple days ago, I think, there's more confirmation. People are writing like more details about it, and the reason why that this is more, it's factual, that they can prove it. They are including the documentary series, a docu-series that is going to come out now regarding him as a central, character of going through this medical procedure. It's a medical procedure. It's not anything else. It's something that the special doctors, they're specialists. They're so special. Okay, well, let's talk about this from a physical point of view, biological point of view, and like nature as we can understand it. Gender bender, that's the English-speaking rhyme. I guess it doesn't really transfer into other languages. But I think the universal humanity recognizes, because of reproduction, all of us, so far, test tube babies and surrogates and all that kind of thing aside, there is always one mother and one father, whether we get to know them or not. But I think that still the majority of people do know about their mother and father, and usually higher percentage do know about their mother. So as a humanity, the normal, regular thing is to see the world as mother and father, female and male. So we're seeing it as two genders because of that, because of the idea that it takes two to reproduce, to perpetuate the species. It takes two. And as far as we know, all through known history, without the advent of modern science, modern medicine, modern distorted, whatever you want to call it, prior to that, it was that way. Male and female, whether they get married or whether they get along or not. And by the way, marriage was an institution that was invented later on. They did that primarily because of a legal thing. They wanted to make money by creating litigation against males who were going to be considered irresponsible after that. Whether they were or whether they were not, it became very lucrative for the court system. So there were different countries, and especially I think it was England, but it could have been some of the Catholic countries around that time in the Middle Ages. I can't pinpoint it. This is not a video about marriage, but they institutionalized it and brought men to task. Hey, your 1 second of fun or your 1 minute of fun, now you got to pay for it for the rest of your life, or for the life of up to the minor age of whatever it would be, 16, 18, or 21, thereabouts. And motherhood was always kind of enshrined as a given, that if you have children, if you become a mother, then we know that's where the human race comes from. We know that gender is established. So, okay, so all this stuff goes without saying, in a way. There's male and female. But now we come to this political correct age, and we have to recognize that there's people who don't know, they don't want to know, people who can't know, they're somehow in between, or they're both. So the in between means that they kind of have traits that can't be distinguished either way, but that overlaps with this other category of people that have both traits, both male and female. So that's hermaphroditic. Hermaphrodites have complete parts of male and female. So there are species of animals that are hermaphroditic, like, for example, earthworms. You can put any two earthworms together, it doesn't matter, you don't have to look. They won't reproduce if they are of reproductive age and healthy condition. So they can even reproduce with themselves, as far as I know. So imagine having a baby with yourself. But normally, as far as we've always known for thousands of years, and according to religion, it seems to be that it's meant that way. It's created in that image, according to that design. So if you look at now with this in-between kind of stuff going on, and then you look at this opting in for a medical procedure. You opt in because you feel like being the opposite sex. You started out as a male, and through school and growing up, you always were put forth as a male, but you could say that you always felt like you were a female. You identify with the female kind, and you really wanted to be with them because you were one of them. So now with elective option of the surgery, elective surgery, you can become that opposite sex. Same thing if you were female and always identified with the males. Now, I'm not going to get into all the obvious of what a male is like and what a female is like. We know that. But the point is, let's accept that some people are in between. Some people it's hard to tell. Remember the SNL skit? And I've seen, well, no, I saw one episode, and I knew a lot of people were talking about it. I'm not a big SNL fan. I didn't have time for it. It's funny, ha ha ha. They did a skit with a character named Pat. Remember Pat? It really conjures some images for you. If you remember all those episodes. Pat, you couldn't figure out, but it was kind of like, it couldn't really come out. It would be offensive and it would be disrespectful, and no one was willing to cross that line. But you had to be a little bit polite and just still somewhat confused in your own mind about Pat. I had a brother named Pat, by the way, but that was a different story. He was definitely a brother and a male. But by the way, many names can go either way. Peter is not one of them, though. Chris, Dan, Danny, many names can go both ways. And they usually make a more flowery ending to the name. It's usually the suffix that gets like, Henrietta instead of Henry. There's usually that little flair at the end that shows that you're more fancy and you're more feminine. That gives the name its feminine version, female, for the females. Now